shared with you from the beginning that we did 6 lessons so that we can look at the blocks, barriers, and baggage that keep us from applying ourselves in a beneficial way. I then went on to share with you that you can actually be this person who lives with a philosophy of value, personal philosophy of value. You can live with purpose and meaning. You can be intentional and of what you want to be and how you want to live. You can have integrity as to why you want that. You can recognize the opportunity you have every day to play a self-beneficial role in your life. You can have an awareness, develop an awareness of what that means to be self-beneficial. You can not only have an awareness, but you can tap into your ability to do that. You can have this capacity come online and used. You can develop skills and practice these skills that you can show up as this person. If you are this person, then when you get up in the morning, 1, you can be thankful for the day and the opportunity this is for you to be caring to yourself in a way that feels good. It's all about ease and doing things easily and playing a beneficial role in your life without stress and strain, without feeling deprived, without pushing and all that. And from being thankful, you can take the opportunity that day by making a list of things that you want to do that day that can benefit you. That's 2. 3, that if you raised your frequency in that particular way, what benefit would that be and how pleased would you be? What would that make? What difference would that make to you and why would that be important to you, that integrity component? That finish line and being pleased. At the end of the day, if this was so, how would I feel about that? And what difference would it have made to me? And how do I feel about being a self-beneficial person? Then we said, what are the obstacles in the way for that day, for you? 4. And can we address the obstacles? That how can we plan ourselves to make sure that we, still follow through with what we want to do? 6, we said, how can we boost ourselves? How can we make sure we get these things done? How can we make it easy for us to get these things done? I'll give you another example. If you find that you eat a lot of chocolates and sweets, maybe you'll want to start getting dark chocolate. Maybe you'll want to keep less in the house. It can make things easier for you to get to do what you want to do. I'm just giving you an example. 7, we said, will you self-report every day? The purpose of this is for you to keep in touch. This is still important to me. I might have done it, I might have not done it. And if I don't do it, I'm reporting I didn't do it. I feel remorse without guilt, shame, and unworthiness. And if I did it, I feel validation and celebration. And even if I didn't do it, it's still on my mind. I'm still focusing on this. I did what I could do for myself. So that's what we looked at. And then I said there's 2 things I wanted to talk to you about. One is the path of practice, how it parallels the path of learning. And we looked at this journey, this longitudinal journey over the many months that we're going through it, how it gets us to the place to do the same thing in a day. How to go through it in a day. And I also looked at now some of the blocks and barriers that we have had when we were growing up, the skill of self-caring, the skill of self-support, and you can see that you can begin to notice why you are the way you are and why you haven't been functioning in this way, and how you can establish a relationship with yourself, what you feel, what your requirements are, what is a healthy meeting of those requirements, how does that benefit you, raising your frequency, feeling good. And we also looked at like you expecting from yourself, having reasonable expectations, being able to communicate with yourself with encouragement, being encouraging to yourself. You can do it, small wins, small steps, do what you can do, rather than being harsh and forceful and all that sort of thing. You don't have to shame yourself and blame yourself and criticize. You can see the good about you, you can validate you. And yes, everything in life requires a growth curve, and so sometimes we expect ourselves to know how to do things, but skill is required. And so we might not know how, but it's the who that knows the how that we can access. I wrote my first book, and my second half book and my third book is being written based on the skill that of learning to write a book. I did a course on how to write a book, non-fiction. I studied about that. It made it easy for me. Rather than me thinking I should know, just see it and expect myself to do it. Some of us won't let ourselves be educated. We won't let somebody teach us. Some of us we don't feel worthy of somebody teaching us. We don't feel that, we won't let somebody care for us because we used to criticism, our own and other people's, So we can change all these unhealthy ways of self-relating and relate in a more healthy way. So that's what we spend the day with. It's now 6 o'clock. And this last hour will be made available for those of you. It's the last hour is active hour. And will be made available for you to use and study, not for you to share with anybody else or teach anybody else. It's my material, and I'm sharing it with you, literally, freely, no charge. All I ask is for you to be trustworthy and use it and benefit from it and demonstrate it to other people. And if they want to know more about it, direct them to me. That's all I ask. All right. Cool. So I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to ask anybody, open the floor for sharing. If you've got to go, off you go. If you want to share, we have the floor is open for sharing briefly. If not, you can ask questions on the chat, on the WhatsApp chat, and I'll respond there. Okay, so thank you for joining. Can potentially follow this 8-step process. All of us can do it. It's not that you can't do it. You can do it. It's just that your programming is taking you down a different route. So the challenge is to do what you can do easily by reprogramming yourself. This is why this is it's a transformational teaching. You grow up beyond the child you've been, beyond the way you've been living self-abandoningly. You got to recognize, I haven't been with me. I haven't been there for me. See, a lot of people don't realize this. Our own self-relating is very weak. See, so once you start realizing, how am I relating to myself? And look at my childhood, look at my past. As an adult, I can see how my parents were with me, how my teachers were with me. But look how I can be with me. So you can realize, I've been too perfectionistic. But look at what Ashraf is saying. He's saying, do 3 push-ups minimum. I'm not saying do 3. I'm saying do a minimum of 3. Now, you might have never heard something like that, because in your life you might have heard hard, push, strain is success. Now, I'm treating you and I'm treating me like a child, lovingly. Like my mother told me, do what you can do. Do what you can do. Don't judge yourself. Just do what you can do. And that's all we got to do. If we just did what we could do every day, easily on top of it, that was easy, fun, play. If we could just raise our vibration every day, and if we were aware of how to do that, like clearing your tongue, you get a tongue scraper, at least once a day, clear your tongue. It makes such a difference in terms of purification from your body, because a lot of impurities come out from your tongue. Like dogs take out their tongue, and they not only their tail, their tongue as well, because of impurities and coming out from the pores of the body is impure. So it's cleaning the tongue makes such a big difference to flow in terms of removing impurities from the body, not just smell and all that, but it just raised a small thing like that. So we can begin to look at a lot of small things that are easy to do that make a big difference. And just by doing this, getting into the habit of every day doing these small, doable, sustainable things, we're learning to care for ourselves. And we're learning to care for ourselves, teaching ourselves like little children, like it's okay. Just do what you can do. Nobody's scolding the children in us. Nobody's fighting. Just do what you can do. Can you do it? It's good for you. Do it. You see, it's like a loving parent. This is how I'm talking to you. This is how I'm talking to me. These are things, if you did do, it will benefit you to do. Not you have to do it, and you have to do it perfectly, and you must do it strenuously. You get what I mean? Imagine if we were growing up and our parents talked to themselves like that. They went easy on themselves and they easily benefited themselves instead of being hard on themselves, criticizing, shaming, feeling guilt and shame when they can't do the impossible. Imagine if we grew up and somebody teaching. Now we can teach ourselves. And we can learn to live easily, happily, it's beyond the consensus worldview of our time what I'm teaching you. The people are living in a world where you've got to do things you can't do, that's impossible to do, that you must strain and suffer and feel shame and guilt. You know what I mean? That's the mentality of the people. So the hard part here is not doing the practice. The practice is the easiest thing to do. But our own self-abandonment and our own living in a way, trying to fix that cube, trying to solve that cube when we don't know how to solve that cube. And we're going to keep trying the same things that don't work. And we're thinking like one day it will work. That's what we got to realize, that the way we're living is not working for ourselves, is not working for others. Even those who think they are big shots. You told me about that person worked in the UN, you know what I mean, big shot, but what happened to her? Tell us again what happened to her. Robin? Anyway, what Robin was telling us before, I mean, how many times we know of people who worked so hard their whole life, became great success and got diseases and sick and died? You know what I mean? That's not a success. They're not boosting their good feeling, they're not boosting this spiritual energy, they're not boosting their mental health, they're not boosting their spiritual, joy, the inner child joy. They're not boosting. They're making themselves sick. All the success, is it really success when you make yourself sick and you die miserably? Anyway, thank you so much for that sharing. We have one. So thank you for that sharing. Some of us can see that our parents were challenged and couldn't care for themselves and couldn't care for us. Some of us are realizing we can care for ourselves beyond how our parents cared for. Some of us are realizing our parents did care for us in some ways, and maybe in others they didn't know. Some of us are realizing our parents actually cared for us in a way that we might have not realized, that caring, that allowing ourselves to feel, that being with us, that supporting us, doing things with us, showing us how things are done. Some of us might realize, wow, that's made such a great difference in our lives. The caring for us and the support and how to live, So whatever it is, it's what it is. And you've got to overcome the blocks, the barriers and the baggage. Whatever happened as children, you can't say it's my parents. You've got to realize that's where I was, but now my education is my own hands. I'm an adult now. When I was a child, it's okay. My parents didn't know, I can hold them accountable. But there's a time when I can care for me. I can learn to care for me. My parents never learned to care for themselves and they never learned to care for me. I can learn to care for me. I can change, how I relate to me and bring out the best in me. I can bring out the best in me, the best self to care for me, to care for my body, my life. I can care for my future. I can become a different person. I can reparent me to function in a self-beneficial way. See? And that's what we're taking the opportunity for. So thank you for that. And that's great. Have a pleasant rest of your evening and weekend. Good night. Ending this recording with this particular track. If I haven't emphasized it enough in the live session, I want to emphasize it and reiterate it here. This is not about us doing anything. This is not about us getting anything. This is not about doing anything to get anything. This is about us being. And it's all about being, the five beingnesses, right? Being selfful. Being self-beneficial is being selfful, or a part of being selfful. So this is about us becoming our adult self, the future adult self that we could have been, that we can now be, and that stepping into our personal power. And our personal power is about us relating to ourselves and our bodies and our minds and our lives and areas of our lives, the role that we play in our lives. So this is about us being an adult, playing that constructive, progressive role that only we can do for ourselves. So it's about that. So it's about being that self-benefiting person accessing that capacity and using and developing that capacity even further. So even if I do 3 push-ups, before going to bed at night, and wall push-ups, at least I am being self-beneficial. You don't have to say how self-beneficial you are. The how self-beneficial you are will expand over time, and you develop this capacity of being self-beneficial, and you will expand this capacity and develop it even further, being self-beneficial. So as long as you're being self-beneficial, that's the most important. Just start by doing what you can do, which basically means being as self-caring as you can be, demonstrating that self-caring in any and all areas of your life, and see that and appreciate that this is what you're doing. You're actually being, you're applying yourself in a non-doing application. You are being. So although I said, look at this that you are doing, you're being self-beneficial. It's not really a doing as much as it is a being, that you're a self-beneficial individual. So a person who walks every day in terms of movement and exercise has an identity of I'm a health walker, which I am. And so if I'm every day applying myself in a self-beneficial way, I am a self-benefiting individual. This is the one change in you that changes everything in your life. When you transform, when you become a grown-up adult, and you live as this grown-up adult, constructive, progressive, then a flow begins in your life. You're supporting a flow, an expansion of flow that leads to unrecognizable versions of you in unimaginable visions of your life going forward. So I'm going to stop there for now.